And then 5 people said, of course not. The Chinese government has no responsibility for this, right? Then Google's actions. What impact do you think this will have on other foreign enterprises operating in China? None whatsoever. Things will continue as they are. That was 144. No. The other impact, the second batch, said they will uphold their bottom line and try to comply with business ethics. That was 123. A third group said they will review their moral integrity and make efforts to be better. That was 211. And then the last selection was they'll simply leave China, and that was 73. Right? That was a very, very fascinating survey because A, it showed that the Twitterers, were monitoring all of this that was going on, and they had views, and they were quite diverse views. And for the Western media who was reporting all of this, in fact, the Twitterers had the full range of sophisticated different views and arguing about the significance of Google, the impact of Google, as some of the Western media had. So that was really a significant insight into that. The other thing, by way of just saying by background, is that Human Rights in China is one of the founding NGOs, non-governmental organizations. We are the only NGO focused on China that is a part of the Global Network Initiative. And this is a multi-stakeholder initiative that has Google, Yahoo, and Microsoft, together with socially responsible investment funds, SRIs, and then the big NGOs, Human Rights Watch, Human Rights First, Committee to Protect Journalists, all of the big international ones. And what we have been working on for several years is a framework for foreign companies doing business in difficult countries to protect 2 sets of rights, freedom of expression and privacy. So you can go to our website, gni.org, and you'll see the guidelines and very concrete implementation guidelines that we have been developing. And we are moving into the 3rd phase this year, which is the accountability part. So I'll leave that. There was a question raised by Michael about the scope of the information control. And I want to back up and show you what the architecture actually looks like. So you have to think of it as information control, and it's a circle because it's all interrelated. It's a whole system of laws, which are basically the national security, the criminal law, and the state secrets law. So these are the laws that work in tandem to criminalize any information flow that the government does not want. Secondly, is this whole ideological police apparatus, detentions and arrests, coupled with self-censorship. That contributes to information control. It's this whole climate. And then that is what Greg has been talking about, is China has built, with a lot of help at the beginning in the 90s, from foreign companies like Nortel and Cisco, the routers and the whole, system, the state-of-the-art of the whole backbone, the whole filtering system, the firewalls, and now way beyond that, which they had the architecture in place in the late 90s, is biometrics. So right now, most of the surveillance and security capacity can do things like facial recognition, 10 million face database, find to match your face in I think 2-3 seconds, fingerprint, retinal scans, everything. So it has gone to a fairly sophisticated level, which if you have questions about, you can ask Greg during the Q&A. So this is what this is the realism within the context of which we work. But we still think that within this this architecture of control and trying to understand it at a pretty sophisticated level, this is what we try to do. We try to fight the fact that the impact of this information control really undermines the development of an informed and responsible citizenry. It contributes to the fear and self-censorship, and it really undermines China's capacity to identify, analyze, and address, the problems and come up with the solutions. And finally, you really can't have this kind of information control and censorship and surveillance system and think that you can build a functioning independent rule of law and have transparency and accountability, etc. I'm going to just very quickly give you some sense of what we talk about in China when we say state secrets and what we talk about information control. This is particularly important because on October 1st of this month, the new state secrets law went into effect. And that new state secrets law includes, you could call it a technological digital upgrade for the old state secrets law, which is essentially what I laid out, but the new state secrets law has been upgraded. And it's upgraded for the new technology environment. And it covers not just the internet, but this very odd phrase, all public networking companies. Read that to mean cell phones, telecoms, ISPs, everything. Every company along the food chain of services, hardware, software, security, capacity training, storage media, it includes the whole food chain of information, creating, transmitting, storage, everything. That's the new law. Why is it of great concern? Because it criminalizes the holding, the distribution, just having it, and transmitting of anything deemed to be a state secret. And that means if you have a storage device that has content that could be deemed to be a state secret, that could be a problem. And it's particularly a problem because under the state secrets law, there are regulations on every single one of these areas and much more. I'm just giving you a sense. So there are regulations that classifies what are state secrets across all of those areas. So you can have top secret, highly secret, and secret. So secret is just Mimi, highly secret is Jimmy, and then Jimmy is top secret. And you can see what they mean. Then there's something called internal, Nebu, which is not classified, but if you give it to, if I give it to one of you, it suddenly gets treated as a secret because then it becomes intelligence disclosure to foreigners. It would be, it becomes an intelligence problem, and that gets it treated not just as internal. Now, how does it get classified? Retroactively. That is the most important key I want to say for you to understand why there's, when you hear the Chinese say that Liu Xiaobo has been convicted according to Chinese law, what kind of legal system is it? It's not an independent system, number one, because every court has a political legal committee which will tell the judge, the court, what decisions should be reached in sensitive cases. And to be effective and efficient, it's basically telling them what to do before the trial. You know, you don't need to wait for the trial. So they just say, this person, this sentence, and they actually make the decision before the trial. The information can be classified retroactively because it means that you can give the information, but then later on, if you're detained, it will be deemed a state secret because it's deemed to be that its disclosure was harmful. And that's the big catch-22. All right, well that sounds pretty difficult. So let me move to, you can take a look at this. What do we do in this climate? Because why am I doing this for so long and committed to doing it for as long as we can breathe? So what we do is, we, meaning human rights in China, and many of the people we work with in the technology field, like Greg and our very good friends in the security sector and the other NGOs and our Tibetan friends, what all of us are doing is we're trying very hard to develop uncensored platforms for voices and independent news reporting and for discussion and to have rights-based information, all of which can be a problem. We use a lot of social networking. You can visit our YouTube channel, which looks kind of sad at the moment because we're building it, but we also shoot our own videos and we get videos from China that we post. And then we do training and capacity building. And we promote concrete solutions for engaging responsibly. I want to give you an example of, finally, of some shots at what people do, what Chinese citizens do going to our websites. This is Citizen Square, which is Gongming Guangchang. And what it is we launched it in late April, and we wanted to create a virtual public square, like a virtual Tiananmen Square, but a virtual square or a virtual democracy wall where Chinese citizens can post whatever it is they feel they would like to spread the information, because once they get to us, we're like a gateway, and mostly we can't be taken down. So this just gives you a sense of what people want to disseminate and get out. And you see that case description, it means description of legal cases that they're fighting are like 13%, public appeals, open letters are like 22%, personal stories are 11%, photographs, we're getting a lot of photographs. That's like 5%, and you can see news reporting is a smaller, but some of the independent citizen journalist reporting has been growing. We don't have the resources right now to translate everything we get. It's enormous. So what we're translating, if you go to our English website, you will see the translation of the titles of the different items. And that'll give you a feeling of what the problems, what the issues, what kinds of documents. So right now, in the photographs, we have captions in English, but that's basically all we're able to do with Citizen Square at the moment.